In Photoshop CC, by default, your document windows will appear as tabs. And you can very easily switch between them by just clicking on these tabs here on the top. Or you can also use keyboard shortcut. You can hold down Control and press Tab to go forward and switch between them. And that's Control on both PC and Mac as well. So it's not Command, it's Control Tab. And if you want to go backwards, so from let's say the third one back to the second and then the first one, you can hold down Control Shift Tab and that will go backwards. So that's just a useful keyboard shortcut to know, and it might be also in the exam, so it's good to remember it. But there's another very important thing to remember, and that's under the window menu, Arrange, you have lots of other options to work with the document windows that you have open, especially when you have multiple windows open. So here, first of all, what you should know is the option called Float in Windows. If you choose Float in Window, that will only apply to the selected document, and it will make it float in a window, as you can see it. But if I go back and choose Float All in Windows, then they will be all set up as windows. So now they are not tabs, they are windows. The only problem with this is it's quite difficult to switch between the documents and see how many I have open. So I can always drag it back to snap back to the document area and that way it will become a tab. And then if I want to, I can also switch between these documents by going into the window menu, and here at the bottom I can see all these documents. So I can still switch between them quite easily if I want to. But I can go back to the window menu, choose Arrange, and choose Consolidate All to Tabs. And that will again put them all back into tabs. Now if I want to see them side by side, I can also go to the Arrange options, and I can choose Tile, for example, which will tile them up. Or I can also choose one of these options, like 3 up vertical, if I want to see it like that. Or I can choose any of the other options there. There is an option in the preferences. If you go to Interface, you can see Open Documents as Tabs is turned on. If you prefer to work with floating windows, then you can turn this off, and then whenever you open a new document into Photoshop, they will come up as windows, as floating windows, instead of coming up as tabs. I like to have this turned on. I prefer to work with tabs. I think it's a bit more organized than working with floating windows. Now let me just close these two documents, and I'm going to create a new window for this document. I go to Window menu, Arrange, and choose New Window. And that will open up another tab, but it's actually the same document. So if I set them to tiled up, so I choose Tile from the Arrange options, and I draw something on one, it will appear on the other one as well. Now you might ask, why is it necessary to have two document windows for the same document? Well, it can be very useful in many cases. For example, if I want to have a very close look at a specific part of my image, but at the same time concentrate on the whole picture, then I can work on this very close view with my clone stamp, for example, and then I can just sample from an area and start cloning over these parts. And when I let go, it will refresh also here on the right. So I can keep a close look at it, but at the same time have the other window to see the whole picture as well. And there's a couple of other options under the Arrange in the window menu. The Match Zoom, for example. If I choose that, then both of these windows will have the same zoom ratio. Here at the bottom we can see the magnification, so they share now the same percentage. And then I can also match the location. So the area which I see on one window will be presented on the other one as well. And there's another option here as well under the Arrange options, Match Rotation. Now this is something I'm going to explain in more detail in the next video, but let me just show it to you. It's under the Hand tool. We have the Rotate View tool. So if I rotate this around, I can also match that from the Arrange Match Rotation option. And if I set the rotation back and I zoom out and maybe move the image around a bit, I can also match everything together. So I can go to Arrange and Match All. and then it will match all three: the location, the zoom, and the rotation as well. And that's all what you need to know about working with document windows in Photoshop. But you also have to know about the view options, so how to navigate in the document windows, which I'm going to explain in the next video.